All right, welcome to Decentralized TV. I'm Mike Adams, the founder of Brighteon.com, which carries Decentralized TV, the show. And my co-host, as always, is Todd Pittner. Welcome, Todd. It's great to have you on with me today.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. You know, I am a 10-4, an October 4th survivor. I guess
you made it through?
I guess I'm decarbonization proof or resistant. Like, you know, we had that warning and it like screwed up my phone. I forgot to like turn it off at 10:15 or when it was at 1:15 my time. But you made it through, so I'm glad we're here.
I made it through, but I have a de-Googled phone. And my phone didn't alert me, which was awesome. And yes, let's bring in our guest, John Perez, with Silver is Money. That's his channel name on Telegram. John Perez, a friend of mine for many years, John. We've had many amazing interviews about silver and crypto sometimes as well. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you on.
Yeah, great to be here. Great to be here again. And nice to be on. I love the new studio. Nice to be on the new studio.
Oh, yeah. We're having fun with the studio. And we have the DTV man over here who is our mannequin. But that you can't even say man anymore because of the whole gender issue. So it's like, I don't know if it's a womanican, but it's not a woman. It's a man pretending to be a womanican. That's what that is. And then my dog gets angry at it and attacks it every once in a while. So there we go.
It's called a dude, plastic dude.
Yeah, plastic dude. Maybe next time we'll dress it up as a drag queen and we'll see how that plays. But welcome to the show. And of course, our audience knows that this show is about decentralized living. So we're talking about getting away from central control systems. And John, you and I for many years have talked about the dangers of the banking system and the collapse. We've seen the banks collapse this year. More are likely coming. And then my co-host, Todd Pittner, who came out of the crypto world, privacy crypto, he and I have talked a lot about the importance of self-custody. You got to have control over your assets. And here's where it all comes together. Silver in your custody is the perfect answer against centralized control of your money. Is it not, John?
Yes. I mean, I have been a big full-time silver guy since 05, 06. And even on my group here, it's like an informal requirement to be on my channel. You must have 1,000 ounces of physical silver. And we have 5,000 members. So if it's coming true, and that's quite a few people here, it's pretty big. It's nearing the half a billion ounces here. It's a lot. It's a big group. And I have said to everyone, I have a formula, a simple formula. It's kind of like my conspiracy formula that if silver hits $1,000 an ounce and the bank goes away, they take your 401k, they take your money, silver goes to $1,000 an ounce and you have 1,000 ounces, you are a millionaire, you know?
Yes.
So you're a silver millionaire. And and right now, on the U.S. debt clock, they've adjusted it, and all of a sudden they're showing $1,500 per ounce on there. So no, I'm a big believer because, as you know, silver is trading at only 45% of its 1980 all-time high. Therefore, the magic inflation bullet never hit silver, and I think when everything hits the hyper-deflation bullet, the hyperinflation bullet for silver, it's going to go straight up. There's no other place to go. But yes, I'm a full agreement. Having silver in hand, in control, is the way to go. It's the best insurance you're going to have, and everything else after that is in the precious is great. But I'm an all silver guy. I'm all in on silver.
That's awesome to hear. Let's bring in Todd on this because Todd, you didn't come out of the world of precious metals. You came out of more crypto. Now Todd's doing a food forest in his backyard. It's been amazing. He's nice. Doing off-grid food now. So Todd, what's first of all, do you have any silver that you're willing to admit to publicly? And
yes, I do.
What are your thoughts on it?
Yes, I do. I have a couple of junk bags of silver that I acquired probably 10 years ago, and then maybe again the second one 6 years ago, I believe. And I have some gold. And so, John, I self-identify as having 1,000 ounces of silver, though. So maybe I can join your group. I would love it.
Yeah,
but if that's the rules, I do not have 1,000 ounces as of yet. But I am eager. Well, first of all, John, just Mike and I, we preach the fact that we must get our crappy green dollars out of the banks and into assets that we can self-custody. So precious metals, silver, gold. We like private crypto, not public ledger crypto. But then there's so many other things that we can do. We interviewed Jim Gale, who is the CEO of foodforestabundance.com. So I went down that rabbit hole and I decided, you know what? I want to lead with my chin on this. And I worked with him and his team, and they are in the process of finalizing the installation of a food forest. And it's just simply amazing, you know? And so with silver, the other thing is, and I'm sorry for the long tee up, but I'm founder of decentralizeddirectory.com, which is a consultation, if you will, of helping people decentralize. So I have a section there that is about precious metals. And I'm finding that there are 3 different buckets of people that I'm dealing with. Ones who are, you know, single, younger, and then you have the family, you know, the person who is, they have their job, they're in their kind of income earning opportunity, but they have families, so they have issues there. And then there's the people who are retired and they have a good bit of money. Maybe they don't have a lot of precious metals. So if you wouldn't mind, I would love for you to give some counsel to those listening for those 3 buckets. What is the best way to start acquiring silver? Let's say if you are single, maybe 18 to 30 years old. Let's start there, John.
All right. Well, go ahead and give me run by the 3 buckets again.
Yeah, I would say 21 to 30 single,
okay.
And then you have 30 to 55 that would be married, having a family, and then you have those who are retired that you know are just retired.
I've had everything in the silver business, and I would say off the bat, because it's different. I always call it this. That's a Mr. Various Variables question, where you could have a 21-year-old here who's inherited $1 million, a 21-year-old who's working their butt off just to stay alive, and you've got someone with some savings here. But I always tell people the first goal you want to do is head for that $1,000 range, and then go into that $1,000 range. Whether it's I've told pick up 5 ounces a week. If you get paid every other week, pick up 5 ounces, 10 ounces, and buy it and bury it. Just forget it. Don't buy it. Stare at the screen here. You are buying insurance. You know, it's kind of like if you were to go to Vegas, you would probably take a little bit of cash, not your whole paycheck, and you'd go there expecting, okay, I'm going to win or I'm going to lose. Either way, you're not going to win. But you're not going to take your life insurance policy with you to Vegas, to the craps table, and say, I've got my life insurance policy here. You're not going to gamble that. So I think of silver as being that life insurance policy. You buy it and bury it and forget it, and you don't go to Vegas with that. A lot of people make the mistake of buying silver and staring at the screen, hoping for the spot to go, because the truth is we're really waiting for the banking system to deteriorate to where silver finally breaks out.
100% right. 100% right. So you suggest the age-old method of dollar cost averaging, take a little bit out of your paycheck and just being disciplined, which really can work for any of those 3 buckets, right? Yes?
Yes. And if you have, there's some people, I've had people come to me with a large sum of cash, and have said, oh, I have $300,000 here. I've got $1 million here, and I've got 500 ounces of silver. It's like, oh, wait a second here. We got imbalance here. You've got all this cash and only 500 ounces of silver. I go through some formulas on there and say, we need to increase that. I mean, if someone came to me off the bat and said, I had $1 million of cash, how much should I put in silver? For me personally, my opinion, I said I would convert 20% of that into silver, whether it's 100-ounce bars, bullion bars, or something. Yeah.
Let me jump in and say too, I get asked by people who have a couple of bank accounts and they're over the 250K in the bank accounts. And so that they don't have FDIC coverage, right? And they say, well, what should I do? I'm over the 250K. And I said, look, the answer is obvious. It's called silver. You are 100% exposed to the banking system right now. You are 100% exposed to the dollar, and the dollar is losing value by some estimates, 20, 25% a year, easy, especially if you buy food. Why don't you take some of that and at least consider putting it into metals that are going to hold value and survive the collapse of civilization throughout all of history? And so that You have that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it makes sense to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. Yeah, I think in the stock brokerage's accounts you have a coverage up to $500,000, but you could be in a risk factor of a silver or gold mining stock where there's paper backed by gold indirectly there on the stock market. Well, at least there's more coverage there. To where in a federal deposit account, the minute you go past 250, I mean, if you got 400,000 in the bank, well, guess what? You're over 100% exposed because you really are. You got the FDIC, you've got the bail-in laws, and only much they can cover. I'd say, look, stop at 250, and you're right, convert it to silver. If you've got a massive amount of capital, there's times where I have people, okay, let's pick up some platinum, let's pick up some gold here. But silver is where silver is where the money's going to be and where the profits are there. So I could not agree more. Every the central bank reports came out today. All central banks are buying by the ton. They're not stopping. They're not slowing down here. And the rumors of the BRICS currency coming, it's going to be a multi-commodity basket here. They're basically the put under gold. So the idea of manipulation in the gold markets, it's just simply not going to happen. And right now, the treasury markets are imploding right now, overselling. And China is dumping their U.S. treasuries and they're converting it to gold. So, I mean, every institution out there, it's not even a debate. It's not even an argument now. Now it's, we're at the stage now. Here we are in October. This is the most deadly month for stock market crashes here. And I'm on top. I'm all over this. The Airbnb crash has begun. I did a video recently with Seth Holhouse, and it just came out today on Zero Hedge that the Airbnb exploded with people saying how to sell my Airbnb. I said,
oh yeah,
it's over. Yep. It's over. The minute that happens there, it's over. You can't get out. You have to get out. Anyhow,
see, sorry to interrupt, but it's a really important point. And what Todd and I have discussed on this show a lot is the things that will have value when everything else falls apart. So, I've said gold and silver and land for many years. I have recently added, thanks to learning a lot from Todd on this, but privacy crypto for the portability of it. That's not Bitcoin, by the way. It's like Monero and things that they can't find. I want your reaction on that, by the way, John, about the privacy crypto used strategically. It's not a replacement for silver, but it's something that you can take with you that nobody can see. And silver gets heavy. You have 1,000 ounces of silver, you're going to lug that sucker around. You're going to need a wheelbarrow.
When someone says run for your, I said, if you end up, if you find you dead on the side of the road, hopefully you have 2 rolls of gold in one hand and a 45 in the other.
I like that.
You ain't running with 1,000-ounce bar of silver. I get it though. Portability, storage of value. I mean, 40 ounces of silver in one hand is a quite a bit. I'm sorry, of gold. But yeah, portability. I remember listening to an interview that was on one of the series that we did with John McAfee talking about Monero and being a privacy coin, and it has all the hallmarks of being of what you want, not a public ledger where people can see what you have.
Right.
Like right now, I mean, reality is that the Bitcoin and crypto, it's a surveillance sector. It's like public surveillance. I'm gonna. It's like living in a house that's all glass with no curtains, It's like, right. Wow, looks like he just got out of the shower here and he's counting his money here. He's spending it on X. I just really haven't taken a good solid look at decentralized private crypto, but it has all the hallmarks of everything you'd want. I mean, if it's, privacy rights and security backed by something there, that would make total sense. I mean,
it shares a lot with silver, John. It shares a lot with silver in the sense that, except it's transferable over distance. So, locally, if I'm buying from a farmer's market, I want to use silver. Why? Well, it's private, right? It's private. Yes. It's not trackable. Nobody knows, and it's universally recognized as having value, especially if it's like junk silver coins from a U.S. mint. So that's easy. But if I need to send money to a family member, let's say that's trying to escape Ukraine right now, I can't use the traditional banking system. No way.
That's right.
Banking system is going to shut it down. Oh, how dare you try to transfer money? We don't trust you. You got to prove this and that. Where'd you get the money? What's your whole history? Screw you. I'm going to use Monero. Just boom, it's done. Like 30 seconds later, it's done. Todd, you want to chime in on the similarities between the two here?
Yeah, it's the most Monero is the most liquid crypto, so that's the one Mike and I like a lot. There are some other ones that are smaller that I think are more highly leverageable. As far as we don't talk about speculation, but there are some micro caps out there that we really like for the technology. But we kind of just talk about Monero or XMR because it is so widely used out there. So in the case of having to, my wife's mother, she's Russian and she lives in Ekaterinburg, Russia. And there was a period of time where we couldn't get money to her at all when all the restrictions were happening.
Yep.
And so we had to found a miner over in Russia who was familiar with Monero. And I got him Monero, of which he was able to off-ramp it into rubles and delivered it to my wife's mother.
Wow.
So that was real, that was real. And so there was just no other option. So it was a real godsend to me. But, there's a company called Chainalysis out there. You reference Bitcoin being a surveillance coin. I'm not going to ask you to guess, but I'm just going to share they earn $20 billion in revenues on an annual basis of people paying them to surveil Bitcoin. $20 billion.
Wow.
So that is that. Yeah. So the powers that be, I call them the Druid Babylonian bastards out there, they want you to be in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is very useful because it's the grandfather of them all. But right. Mike and I like to say it's kind of the gateway drug into private crypto. Sometimes you have to acquire Bitcoin, but then when you sell it for the different privacy coins, poof, it's gone.
Well, but also that's great stuff, Todd. Let me jump in. I'll turn it over to John. But Monero is a great way to buy silver. See, because if I'm buying silver, I don't want a record in the banking system on a credit card, in a check. If I want to acquire metals and I want those metals to be 100% off grid, what I'm actually going to do is first I'll buy Bitcoin on an exchange, or I'll buy Monero on an exchange. If I bought Bitcoin, I'll swap it for Monero. But if we're using Kraken, we can just buy Monero. Then I'll take the Monero and I'll buy metals, and I'll get the metals. And now I've broken any link. Like nobody knows I have those metals. How cool is that?
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know the mechanisms and the processes of picking up silver with Monero. Would you have to find a silver dealer that accepts Monero? Or okay.
And they probably would charge a little bit extra percentage to do that, but it's not crazy. I mean, right. I think Peter Schiff has long accepted crypto. His gold operation has accepted it, right?
That's true. I believe there's a couple others out there that do that. It's funny because I've always said, people think, oh, John, you're against crypto. It's like, no, it's not true. I said, I'm only against what the basis of Bitcoin, where it came from, what it became, and what it still is, which I'm actually surprised it's still around. But if you can get, the description, it was kind of interesting because in that interview with John McAfee, he talked about the benefits of Monero, and he said Monero is going to be the future. He was very clear about that. And the more you look at Monero now, though, it's anonymity. It's like cash is anonymous. That's why they want to get rid of it. Silver's anonymous. They want to get rid of it. The last thing they want is a Monero type coin. Now, I don't know if there's a back door back there where you could spot some. I don't think there is. No. But it would make sense to have, let's say, you wanted to pick up some silver, off the record there. It would make sense having something like Monero to pick that up in here. So
100%. And let's shift gears here though too. But I did want to bring that in because there are ways that privacy crypto and metals can work together to protect people's privacy and actually gather assets. Now, John, I want to ask you about the banking system, the failures that are already happening. I want to ask you about the 10-year treasuries now approaching nearly 5%, which means that the United States government is having so much trouble selling its debt, it has to pay premiums. And it means that every year we're going to be adding at least $1.5 trillion to the debt. That's if we don't even print any extra money for Ukraine or wherever, or bank bailouts. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about a financial blowout of the dollar system, are we not?
I think to me personally, because I don't usually follow the bond market, the treasury market, but this time I have the last month, and there's a couple things that are not in the news. Number one, there's an $800 billion short position on the treasury markets, and the bond vigilantes have returned. And the bond vigilantes, they're starting to oversell and sell and sell, and we're going to see this become worse and worse. Jamie Dimon's calling for 8% rates.
Wow.
Housing rates today are at 7.53. The system is absolutely imploding. I think by the end of next week, 2 weeks, we're going to be at 8% mortgage rates. And to make matters even worse, and I talked about this in my interview with Seth, I said housing mortgage applications were to 1996 levels. As of today, we're at 1995 levels. The banking system is finished. And then to make matters worse, for the first time in 12 years, China is under $1 trillion in bonds. They only have 800 billion left. 800 billion in China.
Of U.S. Treasury debt.
Down under Treasury.
Right.
So they got 800 billion in Treasuries bonds that they want to sell. They're dumping now. And there's an $800 billion short position. I did my research. What are the odds that these two numbers were identical here? So I believe there's a weaponized moment coming in the bond market here. Nobody's going to see it, and we're really close. I think it's imminent. I think this month here, sometime in the next 2 weeks here, because 7.5% rates on mortgage homes, 1995 home application rates today. Today, the mortgage banking rate chart that I look at, 1995. In other words, the amount of people applying to buy a home right now, this is at the same as it was in 1995. And now that is significant because the stock market crashed in 1987 and the housing market crashed all the way into 1996. So now we're at 1995 prices. That was mid-housing crash. So the treasury market, the bank, I'm looking down here, I got a chart here, bank, Metro UK. Stock was down 27%. It's down 62% in a week. We have banks going down. Plus, we've got another $568 billion in another, what's called an HTM. And this HTM secure, hold to maturity. These are just right along the treasury. They bought bonds during the COVID crisis when they were paying back a very low yield. Now, they're losing money on these banks. Some of these bonds are down 49%, but there's a little rule. It's called HTM, and I was going to do a video on this, hold to maturity. If you look at the balance sheets on the banks, and this is the top 25 banks, if you look on the balance sheets, they get to mark those bonds at hold to maturity, and they're going up.
At full value.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the deal. With the new laws that are there, those bonds have lost 50% of their value, but because of the HTM laws, a loophole, the banks can record what they paid for it and cover and hide the losses. So this problem we have is way worse than it appears. It's much worse.
But yeah, you're right. But that hold to maturity, that thing has a shelf life on it. That ends.
Yes.
Sometime in 2024, unless it is continued, right?
It's a monster. It's going to be a monster. It's 568 million as of last week, but it's probably over 600 million there.
Billion.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, billion. So you've got the HTM billions in losses. You've got an $800 billion short position on the treasury market. You've got 800 billion in China who are dumping their treasury bonds for gold. And not to mention, we have the bond vigilantes who alone can rock this market. So we're literally, the finger is on the trigger. We're literally a press release away from the treasury markets completely imploding. And Jamie Dimon's calling for 8% interest rates here. So I mean, they're trying to implode the market. I mean, this is like a repeat of the original J.P. Morgan, who destroyed the stock market back in 1929. Now we got Jamie Dimon in there calling for higher rates. So the banking industry is toast. You know, get that silver, get that silver, get that run. You know,
This is encouraging, guys. You want to talk football or something?
Grab the silver bar and run.
Yeah, I have a question for you, John Perez. You were talking about, man, all of these central banks, they're buying, and you have China buying silver and all of this buying. Yet the price doesn't move. So everybody's been talking about everybody's buying for so long, but who in the heck, John Perez, is suppressing the price or controlling it or manipulating it? Because I can't square the price fixing in my mind.
Well, I'll tell you, it's the Federal Reserve. When this comes out down the road, we're going to see the Federal Reserve is spending a lot of money supplying money to people to keep shorting and keeping the price down. Now, I also believe though that it's a double pronged conspiracy I have here regarding silver. I believe on one hand, the white hats are holding it down, also encouraging it to get as many people into silver as possible before the dollar goes off the cliff. That's one scenario or part of the scenario. The other part is the central bankers. They control the world. They run the world. They're buying the gold. They're not going to pay $2,000, $3,000. They're paying the price that they can hold it down at. So the way I look at it, this is a central banking scheme. It's connected with the COMEX, the LBMA. They've got a deal, and the game is we're all going to buy gold until the right moment here. And when you're all ready, when's the right moment? Maybe when the treasury market goes down. Okay, you got your gold. I see the banks like this. And I've worked on central banking gold deals, moving massive amounts of gold. Very complex, very difficult. But for some of the guys I still talk to in the banking system, I've always said, so here's what I see. You got your gold? Yes, you got your gold. Everyone got their central bankers. Y'all got your gold here because the treasury market's going to go. Everyone. So when the time comes, when the rug gets pulled on treasury bonds, I think that we're going to see everything go here. It's a controlled detonation we're watching. We are watching the controlled detonation of the United States reserve currency system and the banking system here, but they're going to profit from it because they're central bankers. So it's an economic war here, and it's imploding upon itself.
John, you're not kidding, or I call it controlled demolition also, yes. In reference to Building 7, but controlled demolition of the dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. But what people need to understand is when the treasury debt market craters, the dollar craters, and the United States government, the federal government craters because they can no longer meet payroll. The only way they can meet payroll right now is by generating new money, and they're having more and more trouble selling that debt, as indicated by the rising treasury rates. And on top of that, understand Euro has dropped off about 25% in its usage now around the world in international settlement because other countries, the BRICS nations in particular, are rejecting the euro, rejecting the dollar, and they're doing trades in yuan and rubles and rupees. Nobody wants the dollar anymore. So how are you going to sell dollars into a global system where nobody wants the freaking dollar? I mean, this implosion is going to be epic.
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, get in the bunker, put on your helmet and get ready because it's imminent. I mean, it's imminent right now. I mean, people I run into say, should I get ready? Dude, you should be panicking right now. It's like, how come you're not panicking? Because I've been preparing for years. This is like the parable of the 10 virgins here. Like there's five had oil, 5 didn't. Be the one with the oil lamp when it goes. And you're right. And I believe all the BRICS nations, they're all dumping US dollars because they know they're going to a new system, and everybody knows that the dollar is doomed, and we're imminent. I don't think there's any way. It is absolutely imminent that this is going to happen here at any moment. And we're going to, with silver, it is better to be 2 hours early than to be 1 minute late, because when silver moves, it will move violently to the upside. And then we've got, we can see a $12 move in silver in a matter of minutes. And I believe it's in the cards here. And then Rule 589 comes in here to try to cap silver price. but it is in the interest of Russia, China, and all the BRICS nations. It is in their interest to destroy the dollar, therefore bringing up the value of the currencies of the ruble, rupee, and yuan, and keeping gold and silver up and keeping oil up, because the basket of currencies in the BRICS are going to be multifaceted in the commodity sector here. And this is really important to know, because there's really nothing backing the dollar except nuclear weapons and sanctions and, ridiculous foreign policy, which is now buried. Now we're burying ourselves now. The debt payment alone, the interest on the debt alone, I mean, we're past the unsustainable.
It's going to be a couple trillion a year.
Yeah.
Just the interest.
So again, getting that silver, putting it in the vault, when a bank gets gold, they buy it and they bury it. I work with a bank in Long Beach, and it's California's strongest bank. It's called Farmers and Merchants Bank. They've been in business since 1907, since before the Federal Reserve. They have a background working in gold, and back in, I think it was the panic of 1907 or 1911, before the Depression, people came to the bank and they came there to withdraw their money. And the owners of the bank, and still the same owners, 5 generations there, and they came out, they rolled their gold out on the cart in front of the bank. Guys out there in guns said, "We have the gold," and they stopped a bank run. And that bank is still in business. It's the strongest bank in California, which is significant because California at one point was the 5th largest economy in the world. And that was the strongest bank in the 5th largest economy as a state alone.
Wow.
Now it's the 9th, thanks to Newsom and Brown, who've destroyed California. But they have a background in metals, conservative loans. And I tell people, I send all my clients, go to Farmers and Merchants Bank, Corona Del Mar, call Mary there. This bank here, they have done their homework, but they have a history. They have history there, but they have the gold. If you want to look at a model bank who has dealt with precious metals, it's FMB there in Corona Del Mar, Long Beach. They're the best. I've been with them for a long time. How I found out about them is that when I was a broker at Monex dealing with silver and gold, I noticed there was a big relationship. Our paycheck said Farmers and Merchants. And then I got the story. I said, oh, they had a background in gold, and Monex had been working with them for like 45, 50 years. And I like old school everything, old money, old school everything. And they had discipline. It takes discipline. And most of these banks that we see that are crashing here, they have no discipline. They're leveraged. They're just signing loans to get commissions here. And this bank doesn't do that. I think that's really, really important that people have a good system there.
Todd, I know you want to jump in. Go ahead.
I just had a message from somebody. It's kind of a phone a friend thing, and you were talking about buy it and bury it. So the question is, can we get the navigational coordinates, John Perez, to your backyard? Asking for a friend.
The GPS here. I'll tell you, true. Seriously, I have clients that have been with me since gold was $365 an ounce and silver was, and they literally they have a big vault. They have a private vault, and once in a while they'll call me, maybe once a year, and it's like, wow, it's like gold's starting to move now finally. And I even at my clients, I can say this from my days at Monex, I have a 100% track record. Every single client that worked with me at Monex, I traded their silver, bought and sold in and out, futures and everything else. They're all in the money. You can't say that with any stock brokerage house. 100%. Everybody's in the money here. Why? Because at the end, when I finally left, I said, you know what, just take it home and store it. Just store it, store it, forget you own it. And now time has gone by. Oh, I think silver was at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 when that happened. Yeah. We popped up to 30 here. I think we're going to be moving up here very quickly here. But the gold is where the gold has made the big move since 2006 was $590, $600. Now we're at 2,000. Silver is still trading. It's still trading at 2010, 2009. Actually, in 2010, silver was $34 an ounce.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah, I save my screenshots. I tell people, look, $34 an ounce. We're gonna go right through 34 this time here, and this time we're going right through 50 here as we go forward here. But the discipline, there is no discipline in the banking system. I spent long and hard. I didn't spend too much. I was very fortunate to be exposed to a very disciplined bank with a background where, hey, when things got wild, what did they do? They rolled out the gold and said, here's the gold. I mean, no bank. You go to JP Morgan and say, hey, got any silver? Well, yeah, you got silver. That's what you've been taking from people here. But I personally, my theory is that JP Morgan silver is in the hands of the U.S. military right now. But
yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
John,
hard to find a good bank that's backed with a real metal there.
Okay, I've got something pretty significant to announce. I was waiting for this show to have you two on at the same time to announce this, because you're both going to love this. This is the perfect marriage of silver and crypto tokens. So in our online store, healthrangerstore.com, we've paid loyalty points to people for many years. When they buy something, you get loyalty points, which is about 5% of the amount that you spent. We are in the process now of working with privacy crypto engineers to issue privacy crypto coins instead of loyalty points, coins that people can use to make future purchases, or they can send them to other people and so on. But here's the thing, John. These coins are priced at the spot price of silver. They're fixed to silver, which means we can't manipulate their price. Nobody, right? Now, but here's the other thing, John. Here's what's cool. In order to offset our risk as the merchant, so we give out all these coins that are worth whatever silver is worth. Well, if silver explodes, people can spend those in our store and just get all kinds of free goods. How do we cover that? So the answer, John, you're going to love this, is we are buying the physical silver to match the tokens we issue.
Oh, perfect.
That's cool.
I mean, that's I think we talked about this a long time ago, and I'll tell you, it makes total sense. I mean, could you listen? If you were, right now, as a business person with tokens here, with where silver's at right now, launching all this silver and stockpiling this silver here, and suddenly it making a move. I mean, you're just you're running the show. He who owns the gold makes the rules. Well, he who owns the silver not only makes the rules, but also makes more money than that person holding the gold here, because silver's got the upside here. But this privacy, silver backed, I mean, you can't beat that.
John, do you have a name for the coin?
What's that, Todd?
Do you have a name for the coin, or?
Yeah, I do have a name for the coin. I don't want to give it out yet, but we have a name. And I want to be clear, it's not redeemable for silver. It's redeemable at our store, but it's always priced in silver. And then we buy silver to match the coins, so that if silver goes to, let's just say, $200 an ounce, and people start redeeming them like crazy, we sell our physical silver at $200 an ounce to cover the redemptions. You see what I mean?
How do people acquire it though, Mike? I don't understand.
They acquire it by just shopping at our store. They get they get 5% back in these tokens.
Perfect.
That's it.
Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah, that well, it's like airline points. You fly.
Yeah, it's like loyalty points.
Okay, that makes sense.
And there's no mining, Todd. Like there's no crypto mining. So there's nobody can game the mining.
Yeah.
The supply.
So nobody's trading it. So it's not.
Nobody's trading it. People are just either holding it. Think about this, John.
Holding it, yeah.
We're like, okay, you shop at our store, you get these tokens, these coins, and if you believe silver is going to go up 10 times, then you can sit on these coins and trade them in later when they're worth 10 times more. Trade them for food and supplements and things that we sell. Or you can trade them in today, or you can give them as a gift, whatever you want to do.
I'll tell you what. That reminds me of growing up as a kid. I used to love putting S&H green stamps and blue stamps on these little booklets from shopping. You go shopping, you used to get these little sheets of stamps, and they were called, that's where that term, blue chip stamps. And then there was S&H green stamps. So if you went out shopping and you spent a certain amount, you would get stamps. Always, I remember doing this. I was like first, second grade.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I want to put the stamps in. And at home you had a book, and you would lick the stamps and put them on the books. It was credit. And once that book was full, it was worth X amount of money.
Right.
I mean, the plan you're talking about here is actually a familiar plan. The difference is you shop, you get stamps, you collect the stamps, and then use them at a value down the road at the same place. You had to go back and shop at the same
But
place.
the key difference here, John, is we're not tying it to the dollar.
Right.
We're tying it to silver because we know the dollar is going to become worthless. So, I mean, no one wants to hold tokens denominated in dollars when dollars are becoming worthless, you see. I mean, think about this, Todd, too. I mean, people want to hold things that have the potential to either hold value or maybe have more value down the road. And how do you beat food inflation is you put your money in something that beats inflation.
That's
not the dollar.
Mike, I'm going to be featuring Health Rangers stored within decentralizeddirectory.com. I'd really like to make this awesome. be a key feature of this, to be able to really, spell it out for people and educate people. And maybe I can do a one-on-one interview with you.
Of course, at any time. But I'm just saying, I'm thrilled that I found the way to merge silver and crypto with e-commerce, and this is it.
I like it. I like the fact that you. The nice thing is that you can actually shop for what you want and speculate too on silver, which we all know silver's going up. So to me, it's kind of if you get this out right now, and it's like, well, my attitude is, well, that coin's going up. Value of that. You
may be right, but we don't. That's not part of our message. We don't tell people, like we don't encourage speculation on it.
Right.
But whatever people think is up to them. If they think it's going to go up and they want to hold on to it, great. But we're always going to have the food.
Right.
we're always going to allow you to redeem the coin, the token.
You know what I love about it, Mike? What I love about it is, as I'm thinking it through, I'm just thinking, what a simple solution. I mean, you just made this whole complicated points and everything. You just destroyed that. And
it really is simple. And you just index it to spot price of silver. And so no one can come along and say, oh, you're manipulating it. No, JP Morgan is manipulating it, not me.
Right.
That's why it's artificially low.
Yeah. It's like, they're manipulating it because they know if they don't, they're out of business. If they let silver, what happened when JP Morgan rolls over and plays dead because of the price of silver? Health Ranger Brighteon is going to be rolling out of bed, jumping up and down, saying, "Oh, our tokens just went up. Their value just went up here." I mean, that's it's going to be like JP Morgan dies and Health Ranger flies. That's really, the plan. I like it. Sounds good because you're in a closed loop. Your company, your product. The product there. How could you say no to that? How can you shop and say no to tokens that are connected to silver? If you're a silver person, I'd like some more stamps. I'd like some more tokens here. Well, go shopping. Go pick something up here. I like it.
Mike, quick question. Excuse me, John. Quick question. Are you also working on being able to integrate people being able to buy your food, et cetera, with crypto?
Yes. That's also under development as well. That's taken longer than we thought. Because there were some components that were taken down by our e-commerce platform host, but we're building them from scratch. So that's coming too. We're going to accept like Monero.
Excellent. So I could pay with Monero privately for food, and then I'd be able to still get the 5% back in the bonus tokens.
Absolutely, you get the 5% back in the bonus coins that are priced in silver.
Beautiful. Yeah, wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, I know, it's cool. And then we get paid in Monero or other privacy crypto, which I think is awesome as well. And then, by the way, John, think about this: we're not paying 4% to the merchant services.
Yeah, that's
huge.
That whole industry. I mean, it's or as McAfee said, you're not buying coffee with Bitcoin. Nobody is,
No.
And so I like the idea of a closed loop system in your ecosystem there.
Right.
You have control, management, plus legitimately, the price of silver is going up. So it would seem attractive to me. I would look at that and say, well, gosh, this is if you're shopping Health Ranger right now, this would be kind of an added bonus to me. And I don't know how it would make sense. I mean, what a bonus. What's this? You got a silver token here. Well, for what? Shopping here. I didn't know that. Great. Let's hop how do I get this? I'm curious. Is this going to be automatically given to if someone shops? Do they check off for it and volunteer for it?
It's automatic, and we're gonna shift gears. So I don't mean to dwell on this so long, but it's automatic. At first, we hold it in their account, and then they can withdraw it to their own wallet at any time they want.
So cool.
Okay,
so they can take self-custody, or if they don't understand how to run wallets and what that technology is, then we can custody it for them, and they can redeem it at any time with us.
And will these have privacy? Are they privacy enhanced?
Yes,
these tokens?
they're totally private.
Yeah,
in fact, it's based on one of the platforms that we've interviewed right here on the show.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. Privacy coins. Nobody knows how much you have, where you spent them, how much was given to you. So you can give a gift to a family member, the gift of, food, nutrition, survival supplies, iodine, whatever, you can just transfer them to your mother or your grandmother, whatever, and say, here, you can shop with these.
That is a big idea.
The ultimate gift card. Anyway, I didn't mean to make this show about that. I mean, John, you're our guest.
I think it's great. I mean, I think right now, anything with silver right now, I mean, silver to me is where Trump said, he tweeted it out and he said silver is the most undervalued asset on planet Earth and has been money throughout all of history. So you're talking silver, you're talking money, but you're talking silver right now, you're talking about the most undervalued asset on planet Earth. I mean, you look at housing. $1 million house was probably 60, 70, 80 grand in 1980. So it's gone through the roof. Silver's not even 50% of its 1980 highs. So there tells you something. There's going to be an explosion in silver like humanity has never seen before. I mean, John F. Kennedy, Executive Order 1110, signs it. 6 months later, he gets assassinated. Abraham Lincoln finds all the silver, the Comstock Lode, rushes Nevada, the silver state, into statehood. Boom, he wins the war, sells his silver, assassinated from there. So silver is the magic bullet, whether it's werewolves or vampires or bankers.
Here, I have a silver bullet, John, actually right here. This is a silver bullet.
Here we go. Now.
This is a 308 round.
Wait a second here. Where's the ammo here? Where's the ammo here? I had one here yesterday. It's hiding from me.
We need a silver. Here. What? We need a 50 caliber round. You have that. Is
the 50 cal.
Is that a 50? Oh my goodness.
That's a 50 cal right there.
That's great.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have cal envy, everyone.
You got to bring a bigger bullet. What you got to do, Todd? Just get yourself, I don't know, what's that 20 millimeter round from a
I need a silver.
I saw one.
I saw a
20 millimeter. Yeah. I saw a 20 millimeter silver bullet.
Really?
Yes. I was like, how much is that? I want that. That's incredible.
Okay. The ultimate 155 millimeter howitzer silver round. Yeah. That's it. That would be like this big.
Wow,
that's what you put in your pocket when the zombies come.
Yeah.
Right?
What is that in your pocket? Is that a howitzer round or is that silver or what?
That's the end of your crossbow bolts, it's but yeah, I think right now, picking up silver right now is, it's everything here. I think, and a lot of people have had silver and I was like, well, silver's not going anywhere. I said, don't worry. I said, everything else is going somewhere right now. It's all been going up for a long time. Well, when it finally goes down and when this treasury market lets loose, this is the first time we're going to go into a stock crash where the whole world is like going to dogpile on top of the United States, pull the rug out, sell everything here. Russia's going to cut more oil. Saudi Arabia's going to cut more oil, jack the price up. We're going to go to 150 crude oil here.
Yep, that's coming.
Everyone's going to be wiped out. I mean, we have a big wipeout, but here's the problem. It's imminent right now. So the move in silver, I believe, is imminent also here. But I believe this October, Red October, that's what this hashtag Red October, that's what this month is here. I'm looking at the numbers here. It's over here. It's like, get that silver. Get it now.
We're with you on that, John. Let's talk about confiscation here now for a second, because now gold has been confiscated in the history of the United States. And as we know, Todd, There are efforts to try to outlaw crypto in certain countries, and the SEC is at war with crypto. I think they'll fail ultimately, but they would love to wipe it out. But John, they can't wipe out silver. And please tell us why.
Well, it's because, first of all, it's an industrial metal. Everybody needs it. Industry needs it. The solar industry needs it. Can you imagine? We're taking all your silver here. Well, we're going to put it in solar panels for climate change. Like, no, you can't do that. Everyone needs it's jewelry. It's spread out everywhere. There's
semiconductors.
Yes, everyone needs silver. I mean, industry would suffer so greatly on that. Gold is a different ball game because they have experience at taking people's gold. But I have a feeling that that's not going to happen. I think they're going for I think that's why they created the bail-in law so they wouldn't have to confiscate gold. Because back in the day, the bank crash, you just lost your money. There was no FDIC. Now they got the FDIC. It's like, well, instead of taking their gold, we'll just take your cash. So to me, part of the whole mechanism of creating the FDIC and the bail-in laws with the Organized Liquidation Authority, the OLA, they're organized to liquidate your cash because you're an unsecured lender at the bank. In my opinion, that OLA and FDIC was created so that instead of confiscating gold, we're going to confiscate your cash. That's going to be first round. Whether they confiscate gold or not, I believe it's out there, but now 10 states are no taxes on precious metals gains. 10 states now, and I believe that's going to double, and I think it's going to increase here very, very quickly here.
And even if they go after gold, though, they really can't touch silver. And also, by the way, there's silver in every military jet. There's silver in spacecraft. There's silver in satellites, in military satellites. I mean, you can't destroy the silver supply in America without destroying the entire infrastructure, including telecom.
Yes.
So silver is going to be here.
So again, silver to me is there was a movie out called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, and it's a great movie. I recommend it in my group. Everyone, you need to go see Sum of All Fears and go see Vampire. Well, the whole movie's about silver.
Really?
It is about silver. Yeah, the movie is about silver, and the vampires are coming after the silver here. It's really an interesting movie. There's a lot of stuff in that movie that is conspiracy, but it's really, and it has to do with the silver at the Comstock lode because they found all the silver in Nevada. And at that time, it was during the Civil War, he was selling the silver to print greenbacks to help win the war. And the vampires, they wanted the silver. It's a fascinating movie here. And the acting is really good here. But when you watch that movie, you think, wait a second, it's the same thing right now. I think right now you got all these banking vampires holding the silver. They want that silver. They want the price down. They want you hating silver. Silver's a horrible investment. You talk to people. Silver's not going anywhere. It's a bad investment. Why? I don't know. It's just down, not going anywhere. Well, it's not worth anything. Well, then why would Trump tweet out, this is the most undervalued asset on planet Earth? I talk to guys in the business all the time. Millionaires are pouring into silver. And here's the funny part. I have a few friends that are bona fide billionaires. They love silver. They know they got to have a whole bunch of silver. You got to get pallets of silver here. And they know that silver's got the upside because they know gold's going to go up. Gold's going to be great. Platinum, to me, is going to be the second in line to silver. But they all know that when silver moves, it's not going to be a 1 bagger, 2 bagger. We're looking at a 5, 10, 15, 20 bagger in the price of silver here. So, the banks are losing control. I said in an interview I did with David Morgan, I said, we have something the COMEX apocalypse, where I said they're going to cut off the underground undersea cables between the UK and the United States. It's going to cut off the ability for the LBMA to communicate with the COMEX. And that undersea cable is going to be cut. False flag? I don't know, but they're going to blame Russia here. So when silver moves, they're going to say, those pesky Russians, they blew up the undersea cable.
Sounds like Nord Stream 2.0, man.
It's exactly the same thing here. So the Russians did it. And it's like, and then silver takes off. And of course, they'll be ready because they're going to be, and out. I said this in February and out today and yesterday. Admiral of Navy says undersea cables now vulnerable. I go, there it is. It's October, and now this comes out now. UK admirals, last 48 hours, I thought, how would it came out during the FEMA test, and a lot of people don't know, during the FEMA test, there was a simultaneous nuclear test of a missile in Russia, and they had their own nuclear weapons test simultaneously. I said, this is no coincidence here. So I just tell people, they're testing simultaneously nuclear. It's imminent. Everything. I'm looking around. I said, I closed my eyes. It's going to crash. It's going to crash here.
And we haven't even talked about Evergrande yet. I want to get an update on that. But let's go to Todd for a sec here. Todd, do you want to jump in with a question or comment on what John just said before we talk about Evergrande?
No, I was just focusing on when you were saying that these millionaires and billionaires are just all getting into gold. I'm just still having a difficult time with that, saying, how can the price of silver not move when there's all of these wealthy speculators that just know it's going to turn?
I'll give you the short answer on that. The short answer is the spot price on the wall. It's fake. It's like if you were to count votes, the Biden votes, it's like mail-in ballots, well, here's all the mail-in ballots. That's BS. That is not real. It's the same thing. You got to remember, the spot price you see in silver, that is a managed price. That's where the London fix, you've heard of the fix is in, right? Well, it's actually called the London fix. They fixed the price here, and they use the contracts at the COMEX to act like there's all this trading going on, but it's only derivatives. It's fake contracts here. So you go on the street, you say, okay, the price of silver is up there, and say it's $22 today. Go to any coin store, say, I'd like to buy a one American Eagle. You're not paying $22. You're going to be paying $45, $46, whatever it is today here. You're going to be paying almost 30, 40, 50% more. The premiums raise back and forth when the market takes off. When this market is rolling up, when we get towards 45, 50, 60, you're going to see the premiums alone will be above $20 because there's no silver. So when you say, I look at the price of silver, I tell all my clients, do not stare at the screen. You will lose your mind. That price is fake. It is totally, totally fake here. Just like if you believe the price of your house is worth what it is, that's not true because it's only derivatives holding that price out. The minute that treasury market explodes, your house goes down. It's like, how is that possible? It's derivatives. You are being held up by fake derivatives. It's the opposite in silver. They're using fake silver derivatives to short silver down and to artificially hold it down. You do it long enough and it becomes a psychological operation. I call it the silver psyop. And that's what's happening. And so you got people like yourself like going, I don't understand. Well, you're not supposed to understand. Why? You're part of the general public. Once you come to this side and you start looking at this, you're like, wait a second here. There's something wrong here. You're right about the silver. It's like this is the way it's been for years, but that scheme is coming to an end. And that's why I talked about the LBMA and the COMEX when they cut off that blackout. When there's a blackout between UK and the undersea cables, the LBMA sends their weekly reports to the COMEX. They'll be cut off and will not be able to do it. And that's where you're going to see a dislocation, and you're going to see fingers pointing at Russia, saying we can't communicate, and that's when there's going to be the big blackout here with the COMEX.
Well, John, let's help our audience. So there's people here that are probably saying, I'm in. I want to invest in silver. What's the best way for them to go about investing in silver, John?
Well, there's different ways. I think first of all, out the gate, the average person, I always say, get that physical first. You need that physical. There's stocks, silver stocks, but that's different. That's a different leverage speculation. You need that physical right away. Mike's got great contacts in the silver industry. I worked at Monex years ago, and I moved millions of dollars of silver there. I still work with the same guy that I've been with since 2005. So it's the Art Levine at Monex, and I tell people, get that first 100 ounces right away. And start your research. If you're brand new, you're a rookie, you're looking at this, wow, I didn't know this here. This situation is about ready to end at the manipulation of silver. And when it does end, we're going to get a move that's going to break a rule called Rule 589, where it can go up 9, 10, 12 bucks. When it goes up that level here, the surface silver that's out there right now, and there's not much silver out there, it will vaporize very, very quickly. That's why I mean, think about it. Silver, if you look at the chart from 1980, I mean, it's just straight up,
Yeah.
and they knocked it down. Why? Because they came in and manipulated. They charged the Hunt brothers. They did all. They had to bring it down, and they've suppressed it. And now we're at the phase where what? The Bretton Woods system is ending. Our government cannot even sustain itself anymore. So the ability to sustain all these operations where the Federal Reserve is actually giving money to the actual banks themselves that are actually shorting the market there right now. This is not public information. You're not going to see this in the newspapers anywhere. But once you're in the industry for a period of time, you start to look at this. You're like, this is a total scam. And JP Morgan has been behind it, the big player. But, at this stage of the game, we're at the end game because it parallels with the BRICS new currency going to a new scheme as they de-dollarize here. So again, you have to look at the price of silver. You can't look at that and say it's not going anywhere because most people have been in for a long time. So we all know, just as far as I'm concerned, I tell my group, I got 500 people in my stock group for mining stocks. And I tell them every day, don't stare at the screen. When we get to 2650 silver and we break 2650, 27, we're going to be off to the races. And most people will be like, what happened to silver? And I said, by the time they figure it out, we'll be right through 30, 31, 32. It's not, and that's because the system, when it breaks, it's going to be like a dam. And remember, this dam has been holding back silver since 1980. I mean, 1980. Right. We're again, you look at a house. If you had a house, if you had say, hey, I'd like to go shop for a house. I got this great place to buy a house. It's they're following the silver price. So, well, then that means it's not going anywhere. It's all the houses and what's on Balboa Island in Newport Beach. Every house there is $5 million. Those houses were $100,000 back in 1980, $200,000. Well, I got a house down the street for sale, just like one of those for $200,000. Well, what happened to it? Well, it's made of silver. For some reason, inflation didn't hit that silver house. Well, you're going to run over and buy that house, right? You're not going to buy an overinflated house that's been pushed up with derivatives and an entire deep state banking system based on printing money to create these fraudulent home prices here. And we'll know that when housing goes down, the prices just drop and nobody says my house just lost money. I was like, no, you didn't lose any money. It was never worth that money. The derivatives artificially held it up, just like the derivatives artificially hold down silver. It's the same principle. They're spending money to hold down silver versus money to hold up the house. And it will switch. It will teeter-totter and it'll do this. It'll go boom. And then that's when people wake up and say, oh shit, it's like my friends kept telling me about silver and it finally took off and it's going to take off like an NHRA dragster. So like back to Mike's tokens, his internal thing. I mean, now I'm curious. I'm a little motivated here to do some shopping here. I'd like some of these coins here. Why? Because when they go up, I'm going to do some more shopping. I was like, wow, there's so much value. Let's buy some more stuff. This reminds me of the the blue chip and S&H green stamp growing scheme as a kid. The difference is it's just modern technology. I think it's an excellent idea here, but silver, you cannot get. I have it's a rule. I tell them, don't stare at the screen because the rookies go crazy. I don't understand silver. I don't understand. Don't worry. I explain it now too. I've explained it many times now, going over it. But at this stage of the game, I have a saying, #bombs move markets. When the stock market crashes, we had our nuclear test yesterday here, and we got more to come here. I mean, but Russia today tested a nuclear powered nuclear bomb that can fly indefinitely. They tested it today. In other words, not a rocket fuel booster. We're talking nuclear powered engine flying a missile that can fly indefinitely and just loiter in the sky with a massive nuclear warhead. I'm telling you, that's not even the news. How come no one's talking about this? I keep buying the silver, man. I keep buying the silver. Any other time, we'd be in big trouble here. But these issues are out there, and they're gonna eventually affect the market. It'll eventually work its way into the markets here, though. Anyhow, the silver game right now. The name of the game is. I've always told everyone in my group, the central bankers and the people manipulating their silver, they're doing us a favor. I'm able to roll all you guys in with all this cheap silver. We got all these cheap stocks. The average mining, the junior mining stocks, the major stocks, they're all undervalued 65, 75, 85%, just like the price of silver is undervalued. It coincides with Trump's tweet saying
hey, John,
that silver was undervalued.
I hate to jump in here. But we do need to wrap this up. I mean, this information has been gold in addition to the actual subject matter. But we got to wrap this up. Please give our audience the best way they can follow you.
Silver is Money News on Telegram. There you go, right there.
You like Silver is Money News or just Silver is Money? Which one?
I'm on both. Silver is Money is where you want to go. Go on Telegram, look up Silver is Money, and you'll find it out there. We've got, close to 5,000 members. I broadcast all day long, sometimes at night, and I go live, and I'm always reporting the news like this here.
Yeah.
Things are happening in real time, so you really want to be cutting edge, And we got a whole bunch of Mike Adams fans on our channel too. Everybody loves
people love
Mike
your
Adams
channel,
there.
man. I love your channel. I follow your channel.
Oh,
so
I love it. So you guys go to telegram.org, download the app. It's free. It's super easy to use, and go to Silver is Money. Silver is Money, baby.
Silver is Money News. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you, John. This has been awesome. You gave us a lot to talk about. Todd and I are going to do an after discussion here shortly, but we really appreciate you joining us today. Finally, we made it happen. This is awesome. Yeah.
Now, I thank you for having me on board. I appreciate it, and I like the idea. I love it. This is a brilliant idea. I think you're onto something big, and I think the model, is great. I mean, it's silver. Come on, if you know silver, wait a second, I get silver tokens backed by silver if I shop here. Well, that means that if you're a speculator, that stuff's going up. I'm going shopping. I'm going shopping. I already tell them I'm shopping. I am going shopping.
Well, I'll text you when we get this feature rolled out.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I will.
All right, very, very good. Thank you for your support, and thanks for joining us today too. It's always awesome talking with you.
Thank you, and have a great day.
Okay,
Thanks, too, John.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Looking forward to seeing you guys again.
Okay. You too. All right, that was John Perez, everybody, and we'll be right back with Todd and I with the after party discussion straight ahead. Join the official discussion channel for this show on Telegram at t.me/decentralizedtv, where you can ask questions or offer suggestions of who we should interview next. Also be sure to subscribe to the email newsletter on decentralized.tv, where you'll be alerted about 1 day in advance of each new upcoming episode, before it gets published. On decentralized.tv, you'll also find links to our video channels and social media channels across all platforms, including Brighteon, Rumble, BitChute, Twitter, Truth Social, and more. Check it all out at decentralized.tv. All right, well, welcome back, folks. Now it's just Todd Pittner and myself with the after party discussion. So, Todd, I think this is the first chance you got to meet John Perez.
Yes.
The guy knows his stuff.
Of research. He really does. I was at the end, I was gonna start asking some questions about just from a historical standpoint. When did you first start getting into it and stuff? But I thought the interview we were getting so much great information from him. I thought I don't want to derail it by hitting the rewind button.
I know.
But,
I did want to ask him about Evergrande too, but we kind of ran out of time. We'll have to have him back.
But yeah, I'm thinking he digs silver. And I think I want to dig in his backyard. That's my summation.
Well, and I think he's right. Yeah, I think he's totally right about silver. And I think it's personally, I think it's the best asset protection investment that a person can make right now without a lot of speculation risk. There's almost no risk on the downside. This is just my opinion, folks. So don't take it as financial advice. Do your own research. Get your own financial advisors. But I think that silver is ideally positioned right now to store value. Again, I'm not a speculator. I can't tell you where the price is going, but to not lose money, I see silver as the top choice.
Yeah. And I just think it's the low-hanging fruit, especially for people who might be on a dollar cost averaging budget. To be able to acquire through, we have a couple of different companies that we suggest and endorse, but
that's true. Let me just go ahead and mention. So on your site, decentralizeddirectory.com, you've partnered with Miles Franklin there, and that's Andy Scheckman, who we interviewed previously. And so folks, if you want to check that out as an option, you can go to decentralizeddirectory.com, get the information there from Todd's site.
Yeah, and if I could just insert, there's kind of an announcement that I'll make here.
Okay.
Is if you go into the key partners supporting decentralization, you will find Miles Franklin in there, and you can read up on him, and then it'll give you the link. And if you want to just email them, it'd be info@milesfranklin.com, or there's a phone number there.
I will also mention, just for the sake of it, our sponsor on my podcast is the Treasure Island Company. And these guys all know each other. Andy Scheckman and Chris Olson. Oops, there goes my silver bullet. They know each other. They're friends. But you can compare prices, I guess. Go to metalswithmike.com, and that'll take you to the Treasure Island Company.
You know what's cool is he has agreed to come on my show, my YouTube channel, which is Decentralized Directory. If you just search for that,
that's cool.
And he's doing a weekly update.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I'm so grateful for that. So we're going to do it Thursdays at noon Eastern. Sometimes he has to be flexible. I got deprioritized, Mike, because he had to do an hour with Kiyosaki. So okay.
Yeah, well, Kiyosaki has been on it as well. And if you haven't seen that episode here on Decentralized TV with Robert Kiyosaki, you know, that was published a few weeks back. So be sure to check that out.
So many great guests.
Oh, we absolutely have. And, you know, John Perez today is another one. And I've struggled to get John Perez on the show. Now, the thing that everybody needs to know about Perez is he's super, super busy. And he's not able to take the time to do a lot of interviews like he did today. So I feel pretty honored that he came on. He works late at night, and you could also hear his bird in the background just a little bit. Did you hear that? Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of his birds. I don't know if it's like a parakeet or what it is, but that bird used to be a lot louder. I think he found another room to put it in, like farther away from the studio or something. That bird used to be like right there in the foreground. You'd be interviewing John Perez, and that bird would be sounding off. It's like interviewing Scott Ritter with his dog. His dog's always barking in the foreground. That was like John Perez with his bird, but now you can barely hear the bird. Nevertheless, John Perez knows his stuff, and he's passionate, obviously.
Yes. And he gave me 2 good movies. You know, I know you're not a movie guy, but my wife and I, at some point in time over the next couple of weeks, we're going to watch Sum of All Fears and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer. So that I got that out of that.
No, I do. I'm a movie fan.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of going to theaters.
Okay.
But I do appreciate good movies. And frankly, I've never seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Apocalypse or whatever that is.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But that sounds, if Perez says we should watch it, I'm all in. Count me in. I'll definitely check that out.
Interesting. And by the way, you know, there's a new segment on, and it's called Ask Mike Anything.
Oh, okay.
So everybody, this is why you stick around for the after party.
Oh boy.
Is because through the week, things come to my mind, and I'm like, I want to ask Mike that.
Okay.
Now,
go for it.
I don't know if some are going to be serious, some are not. It just depends on how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Like I was going to ask you a non-serious one, it would be, who is Pete and why do we do things for his sake? But, you know, that's no, but I do want to say this. I'd like to discuss the false realities, Mike, of some points of view. And I want to talk college education and investment, because this is all about decentralization. It's been assumed for so long, Mike, that college is the only way to go if you are a smart person with resources, that it's the sure path to success. So, Mike Adams, is that still so, or is it a giant fraud creating indentured servants?
Well, it's absolutely not true any longer. I mean, I went to college, you know, I have a 4-year degree. But if I had to do it again, I might not do that. I might skip that. I think the resources that people have available today to learn online, like watching this show, for example, or listening to other experts, doing your own reading and research, watching videos, it far surpasses what you can get out of a university. There are good programs that are out there, you know, good business schools, for example, that still exist, and engineering schools and so on. Medical schools have all been taken over by the woke plague, by the way. So I don't really trust Western doctors that have gone through medical school at all.
Nope.
But think about the things that you and I have learned ourselves, Todd, even just doing this show.
Right.
Like you've learned about the Food Forest. There's not a Food Forest university to go to learn what food is, right?
That's right.
And what I've learned about nutrition and taught over all the years, there's no university that teaches that.
No.
There's no medical school that teaches that. I mean, personally, I know more about nutrition than any college professor teaching dietitian or medical professor teaching dietitian. I know more just because I've studied nutrition over all the years. And the way to gain knowledge is to be incessantly curious about the world and keep learning every day, no matter what your age. And I know I've shown this before, but like, this silly thing that I have this Rubik's Cube here. And it doesn't, people tease me about it, but here I am in my 50s and I decided let's learn how to do speed cubing. Why not? Yeah. Why not just keep learning? Do something with your mind, do something with coordination. Right. Learn how to do things, like I drive like excavators and skid steers and things like that. I can operate heavy equipment or learn things with firearms. Never stop learning. And that's, you and I, Todd, I think we both demonstrate that. We're always learning from our guests, like we're learning today.
And you know what, Mike? Because this is Ask Mike Anything.
Oh.
Want to see me do a magic trick?
Oh, I don't know. It depends.
I'm going to show you, Mike.
Will you be wearing clothes during?
No, look at this.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, but I put myself through college as a magician.
Okay.
So I want to show you this. This is done with 3 lengths of rope. One, then you have a medium, and then you have a long. Okay, so it's short, medium, long. Mike, what I can do is I can take the short rope down here and I can bring it up so it's in line with the other ropes. Okay, and then I can go down here, Mike, and reach and grab this medium rope and bring it up there so it's even. And then I go down, Mike, and I get the long rope. So now what I have is short, medium, long, short, medium, long. Now watch this, Mike. All I have to do is pull it and those ropes become exactly the same length. Mike.
Nice.
So I have one rope that's the same length. I have 2 ropes that's the same length. And I have this third rope that's the same length. Now I can take that third rope, Mike, put it over my shoulder and do a super special magic effect with the two same length ropes. Watch this. I pull this, I come down here and I pull, Mike, and watch this. That now becomes one super
nice
piece of rope. But if I take this medium rope, I put it here, and I bring that through and I pop off the top. There's nothing in my hand. We're back to a short, a medium, and a large, long rope.
Woo!
Mike, there you go. Mic drop.
Love it. Love it. And we have a happy dog here too. He loves it as well. Good job. You got the roadie salute. Nice job. Okay.
All right, Rody. Yeah. So my last Ask Mike question, anything question, it is filled with a little bit of humor. You may edit it out, but I just want to talk about the political election. And Mike, who has more testosterone in your estimation, RFK Jr. or Big Mike?
Okay.
You can plead the fifth.
No, that's a totally legit question. Well, I would say RFK Jr. does because Big Mike has been on testosterone reduction treatments for many years. So
that's true.
So there you go.
There you go. Okay, thank you for that honest answer, Mike.
Yeah, well, the medicine and transitions. Yeah, Rhodey liked your trick, but he wants to do the trick with the rings, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
But he's only got one ring.
Oh, he does?
We're going to have to bring multiple rings and see if he can multiply. But I do know a trick that he can do where he takes one ring and shreds it into 2 pieces.
Okay.
So he's very good at that trick. I have a monthly budget for buying rings.
That's great.
Mike, that was really good, Todd. I mean, excellent sleight of hand. You did that. Did you do that as a side gig when you were younger to actually pay the bills?
I totally put myself through college as a working magician, close-up magician.
That's awesome. Well, that was very nicely done.
I had a gig. It was a every other week gig at the best bar at University of Iowa, where I was believe it or not, a comedic magician.
That's awesome.
I can tell you stories, Mike.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you can. But
I literally used magic my whole career in business development because I find everybody likes magic, and I can always do a dozen close-up magic tricks at any dinner at a moment's notice. Nobody knows I'm a magician, and so I would just roll right into it and shove corks up my nose and they come out of my mouth. All of the normal stuff people do at dinner. But This is what you get, everybody, in the after party. So
yeah, it is the after party. And by the way, was it you that was asking me how to use tuning forks?
Yes. Thank you. Oh, my wife has been doing that and it's worked.
Totally. I'm telling you, it absolutely works. So anyway, you just go like this. You slap your hand and it vibrates, and you can put it on a joint, and it's driving the vibration into the tissues, into the fingers, whatever. And it's awakening.
And true story, Mike, I have been installing this 4-foot fence, and I just smashed that fat area in between your thumb.
Yeah.
And it happened. And so I started doing it right away.
Yeah.
And I can't show you anything empirical, but I can tell you that it hurt badly, and it only hurt for like maybe a day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because it improves healing. It improves the metabolism of the cells big time.
Yeah.
And it wakes up cells that are kind of in a zombie state. This is the anti-zombie ringer. And there's nothing mystical about it, or woo-woo or new age or anything. It's vibration. And because it's made out of metal, which is interesting because our show today was about metals, but metals being physical elements, they will vibrate at certain frequencies, also based on the length here, but also the alloy and the masses that are up here, which are adjustable. So you can get tuning forks that will produce different frequencies, and it's just straight physics. And those frequencies, you pump them into your tissues, into the points. And some people use acupuncture points or the chi points based on traditional Chinese medicine, the meridians. And that has an even more impactful effect if you know where those points are. But one of those points is right here where you struck yourself with the hammer. By the way, that was an acupuncture point.
Okay. You mean in the fat area in between?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see this, maybe over here. You can see this right there. Like that's one of the acupuncture points right there. And you can drive energy, just kinetic energy, vibration energy into that point. So anyway, you did a show and tell, and so I did a little demo, but yours was way more impressive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That didn't quite show as well because I just didn't have enough room to be able to, but it worked.
It totally worked. And unrehearsed, unedited, I should say. Because you have rehearsed it for years, but unedited, that was all one take. Nice job.
Yeah, thank you. We did it, Mike.
We did it.
Another one down.
Yes. One more thing. Let me bring attention to our friends over at redpillprints.com, because this is what our mannequin is wearing today, the t-shirt and the hat. And we have the coffee mugs out there in front. redpillprints.com/DTV will get you all of their gear. Get you access if you want to have a decentralized TV shirt or hat. And that doesn't support the show, but it's fun, and it supports that retailer that accepts crypto as payment. So you can use your crypto to buy this gear and just demonstrate, how the economy works. Look,
and Mike, I want to commit to you, and I want you to commit to me that we're never going to bend the knee and refer to our mannequin as a transicant. We're not going to be pressured to do that.
I am thinking about different, like, drag queen story time headgear.
Okay. That roadie could ambush at the end of the show.
Yeah, perhaps so. He's dressed up kind of like a covert security man right now, but we don't have to stop there. We could do drag queen. We could do a secret FBI agent guy, a January 6th FBI insurrectionist. There's all kinds of things that we could do with this.
Yeah.
And I think we gotta go beyond the norm here. The guy he's been boring. He hasn't even said anything this whole time.
We need something to keep people coming back, because otherwise we're just boring, Mike.
Yeah, we're just too dang boring. I do have
one day we do need to interview our.
I do have the hatchet,
mannequin.
the battle hatchet here. Maybe we could do something with the mannequin in this.
Wait, that's not Escape from New York.
No, but I do have Escape from LA here, by the way.
Or LA.
Yeah,
You do?
I do. I have it in the studio. I have it on the desk over there.
Oh, man.
You want to see it?
Can you go to a different view so I can get the full glory of it?
Okay. So this is the shape of Escape from LA there. And it has, this is not the final shape. This is actually number 1, but it has, this is a pry bar on the front of it. And there's another feature coming in right here, but it has a pry bar on the front, and it's designed to be slammed and wedged into things, and you can pry open, and you can break windows and doors or chains with it. It's super rigid, made out of MagnaCut, which is corrosion resistant. It has a G10 handle and, of course, a full tang construction all the way through there, but incredibly durable. I was chopping pecan tree branches with it the other night, and I'm going to go to a junkyard and test it by breaking into cars.
I am going to use that as my machete in the food force.
No?
You're
going to wait, because in 2024, we're coming out with a machete made out of this.
Well, I'll get one then too.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, because machete is the next thing on the list. But this is called Escape from LA. This is not the final version, but it's version 1.
Is that at the bottom, Mike? Is that a beer bottle opener?
What, here?
Yeah.
No, that's just a finger guard.
Okay.
It's just a finger guard like that.
No, I would just tell people it's a beer bottle opener. That's just value add.
Yeah,
it would work.
No, but this is a combination escape from a collapsed city, or a vehicle or whatever. It'll open doors and windows that are latched shut so that you can get out. And it also can, of course, function as a self-defense weapon in a pinch. It doesn't have, obviously, the tip, but then we have another version that I shouldn't even be showing this. This is called Escape from LA Tonto. So this is a Tonto tip that's more of a combat tip, with most of this available as a prying action as well. So this is Escape Tonto. And I haven't even talked about that publicly yet, but there you go. Something interesting.
Hey, blockbuster.
Yeah.
Blockbuster revelation here.
Yep. And I also have the microscope in studio here, my laboratory microscope. It's over there. It's a $100,000 microscope, and we're going to be putting these knives under the scope to look at the edge at up to 2,000 times optical magnification.
Cool.
So it's going to be real interesting. And then I've got like a cheap Amazon.com knife. It's like a $20 knife that we're going to compare under the microscope. This is fun. This is thin and bendable and breakable, and it will corrode, but that's what you get for $20. So anyway,
that's funny. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Mike.
Yeah. Well, you I guess it's show and tell day, but I think we've nailed it. John Perez was awesome. That was a great interview, great discussion, and I thank you, Todd, for bringing your magic for us today.
You bet. It's been a while. I'm always looking forward to an opportunity to be able to do a little show and tell. So thank you, Mike.
Absolutely. Well, we'll keep it fun every time. So,
yes, sir.
Folks, just as a reminder, visit Todd's website, decentralizeddirectory.com. And the official website for the show here is decentralized.tv. And you'll find all the links there to social media, Telegram, the video channels and all of that. So thank you all for your support. And thank you, Todd, again, for joining me today.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Cheers.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Adams of Brighteon.com. Be well.